midnight. The city got quiet, but his mind wouldn't sleep. Some nights you can hear every memory breathing. He sat alone with the weight of everything he never said. Wonder how a heart keeps beating after so much loss. The room was dark, phone face down on the table. He had 1,000 thoughts, but none of them felt stable. Pictures on the wall show faces from another time. People who once said forever now, living in his mind. He remembered every laugh, every promise, every call. Then remember how quickly a whole world can fall. Outside the street lights painted shadows on the floor. He wondered if tomorrow would feel like before. He had learned to hide the hurt behind a steady stare. Say I'm good when nobody really knew he wasn't there. The strongest looking people can be breaking underneath. Sometimes courage is simply finding one more breath. He wanted to call somebody, but the number fell too far. So he talked to the ceiling underneath the lonely stars. That night felt longer than any night before. Every memory kept knocking at the door. He couldn't change the past, couldn't rewrite what was gone. So he closed his eyes and waited for the dawn. He had lost so much, but he still held on, counting every heartbeat until the dark was gone. Nobody knew how heavy his silence could be. Nobody saw the war that he carried privately. It was the loneliest night, but morning still came, and he walked through the pain without running from the rain. He didn't have answers, he didn't know why. He just promised himself he would make it through the night. Thought about the people he would never see again, the conversations that ended before they could begin. He thought about the dreams that had fallen apart, and all the little pieces still living in his heart. There were moments he wished he could go back and change, take a different road, make a different choice, rearrange. But life doesn't offer pages that you can rewrite, so he learned to forgive himself beneath the moonlight. He knew that grief could turn a house into a prison, make you fear the future because the past keeps visiting. Every sound in the hallway made him look toward the door, as if somebody he missed might come walking in once more. He stared at old messages and read them one by one, then put the phone away when he realized what was done. Some tears came quietly, some never came at all, because sometimes the deepest pain has no language at all. He wasn't weak for hurting, he was human and alive, and every breath he took was proof he still could survive. It was the loneliest night of his life, when every old wound came alive in the quiet. He had lost so much, but he still held on, counting every heartbeat until the dark was gone. Nobody knew how heavy his silence could be. Nobody saw the war that he carried privately. It was the loneliest night, but morning still came, and he walked through the pain without running from the rain. He didn't have answers, he didn't know why. He just promised himself he would make it through the night. Before sunrise, he stood beside the window, watched the sky change from black into a softer blue. He knew the pain would still be waiting when daylight came, but he also knew he didn't have to carry it the same. He could honor every person by living with purpose, keep the memories close without letting grief close the curtains. He could miss them and still build something new, cry for what was lost and still chase what was true. The night had taught him something nobody could explain. You don't have to defeat your sorrow to walk through the rain. Sometimes survival is quiet without applause or a crowd, just getting up again when your heart won't make a sound. He wiped his face, put his shoes beside the door, and promised not to let yesterday decide anymore. He carried every lesson, every scar, every name, but he refused to let the darkness become his own flame. When the sunlight touched the glass, he whispered that the hardest night had finally passed. It was the loneliest night of his life, when every old wound came alive in the quiet. He had lost so much, but he still held on, counting every heartbeat until the dark was gone. Nobody knew how heavy his silence could be. Nobody saw the war that he carried privately. It was the loneliest night, but morning still came, and he walked through the pain without running from the rain. was still standing there, not free from the pain, but stronger than despair. Some nights change you. Some losses leave fingerprints on your heart. Some memories never stop hurting. But the darkest night cannot last forever. You took one breath, then one step, then another. And that was enough to begin again.